Good afternoon, Packers fans. Aaron Nagler here with your Packers Daily Chat, coming to you live on the Cheesehead TV social channels. Happy Monday. Good to be back. Good to be back with you, Packers fans worldwide. After a week away, I am recharged, refreshed, and ready for a great desert of no Packers headlines. Although the NFL gave us something to talk about today with a monster trade between the Dolphins and the Steelers. Packers obviously facing the Steelers later this year. Aaron Rodgers and company going to look very different. The Steelers, that is, with Aaron Rodgers at the helm. But as far as the green and gold go, not a ton of headlines. I know Jordan Love got married yesterday. Happy nuptials to the lovely couple. David Bakhtiari having a little fun with it on Twitter. Always good to see Dave mixing it up online. But outside of that, not a ton to talk about as per usual this time of year. But that doesn't stop us here at Cheesehead TV, continuing to provide content for you throughout the offseason. I hope you checked out my conversation with Cody that dropped this morning. Cody Alexander from Match Quarters and I talking about Jeff Hafley going into year 2, what we can expect as far as the scheme and the use of the personnel and how it might differ from what we saw last year, where they can expand, what they might change. Highly recommend you checking that out and all of Cody's work at Match Quarters. It's really, really detailed, high-level stuff on the defensive side of the ball. He covers both the NFL and college ball. If you like defense, hell, if you just like football, make sure you're checking out Match Quarters. And I hope you check out that conversation because it's always good to talk defensive football and Packers defensive football with Cody. Hello to everybody in the comments section. So good to see you all. Everybody mixing it up already. Good to see all the regulars here. Dale, good afternoon. Hope you're well. Before we get going, I got to give a shout out to our good friends over at Ticket King. Based in Wisconsin since 1992, Ticket King is located across the street from Lambeau Field on Oneida. They're happy to help you find just the right tickets for Packers games, from larger groups to single tickets, both home and away. They partner with local Green Bay businesses for tailgating and bus transportation to the games, so you don't have to worry about driving or parking. They're even open on game day for last-minute tickets or possible upgrades. And if you're not in Green Bay, no problem. Just use the Ticket King link on the Cheesehead TV homepage or indeed in the description of this video. Don't use Ticketmaster, StubHub, SeatGeek, none of these national companies. Use a company based in Wisconsin since the early 90s. Ticket King for all your Packers ticket needs. Do it, folks. What's going on, everybody? Good to see you all. Evil Badger 72. What a handle. Thanks for the super chat. With my birthday being tomorrow, well, happy birthday. I celebrated early by attending the Morgan Wallen concert at Camp Randall. I was shocked to see Favre walking up to the stage with Morgan. I've seen, obviously, a lot of folks from Wisconsin and surrounding environs went to this concert. I believe it was yesterday. I'm glad that, really glad that everybody had a good time. It looked like an amazing atmosphere. I will admit that's not my kind of music. I probably would fold under questioning in a detention center if they use that music as, torture. So that's just me. That's just how I roll. I can't handle that kind of music, but I know I'm in the vast minority. I know there are a ton of folks who really enjoy it. And it looked like you all enjoyed it the other night or last night, whenever it was. Camp Randall looked amazing. Talk about a vibe. But I'm glad you had a good time. Happy birthday. And I think Favre walking out, not really surprising, I don't think, but your mileage may vary. She said, Joey, what's going on, man? Get ready to learn Alan Lazard's Steelers. Man, I don't know. I think, I guess it's a possibility if they get to camp and there are a few drops or guys running the wrong route, don't get the hand signals, what have you, and maybe Rodgers, gets in the ear of the GM and says, Alan Lazard and I got something pretty special, after all these seasons. Maybe, just maybe that happens. We see. Quinn, what's going on? Thanks for the super chat. Appreciate you. Hey, Nags, you see a big impact by Isaiah Simmons. I would, first of all, be sure you check out the conversation with Cody. We talked about Simmons and a couple other guys as far as how they might fit, right? The new additions, if you will. I will say, I think there's a chance for him to be a lot more involved from scrimmage than maybe I suspected when they signed him initially. I thought for sure that he would be maybe not strictly special teams, but mostly there for contributions on teams. But man, judging from what we saw reported during OTAs and minicamp, it sure feels like they're going to give him opportunities at both backer spots as far as Sam and Will, and dependent on the packages, who they're facing, who the opponent might be, etc. And that is something that I talked a lot with Cody about, as far as so much of what we've seen so far as who is playing where and how much is this guy running with the ones, etc., is going to be most likely matchup and or opponent dependent. And I think they see with Simmons an ability to kind of, you know, change up their looks as far as linebackers, defensive backs, who's playing the nickel, who's playing slot, etc., who's playing either one of those backer spots, but then being able to be really malleable within that and, you know, try and keep the quarterback guessing, try and keep offensive coordinators guessing, and really kind of utilizing the athleticism from all these different spots, including with Simmons, to really kind of hopefully play havoc with what the offensive tendencies are, what their kind of go to in certain moments are. I'm really excited to see how much he's able to help on the defensive side of the ball. Like I said, I didn't think there would be a significant impact from that signing when it came to the defensive side of the football. But early indications are they're going to give it a go. And we'll see how much of that kind of materializes right early in the season. And if there's some success there and he shows that, this is a good fit for him, right? Maybe they continue and even expand that a little bit. I think that's a possibility. So, like I said, I mean, we've still got a long way to go. A lot of things can happen when the pads come on, camp gets popping. We'll see what happens, but there's a chance. There's a chance that he has at least, more of an impact than I think a lot of people thought when they first signed him. So we'll see. It's hard to get too, I would say, I don't want to. I mean, the guy has played a lot of ball already in the NFL, and he is an insane athlete. So I don't want to take anything away from him, but it's hard not to look at his first two stops in the league, right? And not see a guy who has not really put it all together at the NFL level. I think he's done some nice stuff. I think there's certainly been places where times where it felt like maybe he was a little out of place and a little overmatched. But I know when he talked with the media during OTAs, he mentioned this is probably the most comfortable fit he's had since he's been in the league, as far as what the Packers are very specifically asking him to do. So hopefully they find a way to unlock him. You can't say it's impossible. We've seen this type of thing before, whether it is, plucking Rasul Douglas off a practice squad or signing Devondre Campbell very late in the process and his coming in to Green Bay and hitting the ground running with an all-pro season. And I'm not projecting that for Simmons in any way, shape, or form. Just saying there's an opportunity. It's absolutely an opportunity for him to contribute in a big way. Jacob, what's up? Nags, I love you, but don't mention Waylon's Jennings' name with Morgan Whalen. Man, I don't know what you're talking about. I love Waylon Jennings, though. She said, Joey, what's going on, man? Fun fact, the Packers starting line in Love's first start in Kansas City in 2021, left to right. Jenkins, Newman, Patrick, Runyon, Turner. Man, what a time. I saw, who was it? I saw somebody put that up on Twitter. I can't remember who it was exactly right now. Sorry. Apologies to who that was. Who was, I think a Packers writer? I can't remember. Sorry. It was going through my feed. But yes, I saw that. And man, you're right. What a time. And what's crazy, and no one really wants to talk about it or remember it this way, especially if you're a Chiefs fan. But with that line that you just mentioned against a really good Kansas City defense, Jordan Love outplayed Patrick Mahomes in that game. In fact, Jordan Love's outplayed Patrick Mahomes both times they faced off on the field, their teams, their respective teams. No one wants to talk about it, but it's true. Let's see what we got. Aware, what's going on, man? PS3 crushing Inter. Oh, did that game fit? I was watching a bit of the Inter Flonez game earlier. Did Inter come back? No chance. Maybe I missed it, but I mean, the Brazilian side looked like they were in control. E4 K-Town. What a handle. Thanks for the super chat. Other than expecting a 17-0 start, I have no expectations for our defense. Surprise me. Well, 17-0, they could easily win all those games. What? 35, 34 could all be shootouts, right? The defense could be terrible. It's possible. Man, I don't want to bring up old bad memories, but that's kind of what the Packers looked like in 2011, right? Just scoring a ton of points, and the defense was kind of along for the ride, especially late in the season. I'm not saying, I'm just saying. Very unhappy memories. M, what's going on, buddy? Hope you're doing well. Last week without you, I felt like a piece of my life was missing. Thanks for everything, Nags. That's incredibly kind. Thank you, man. Good to be back. She said, Joey, oh, it was Wendell. Thank you. Shout out Wendell for that fact. I thought it was a Packers writer, but I couldn't remember. Wendell. Yes, I saw Wendell had tweeted that out. Joe, what's going on, man? Thanks for the super chat. Teams seem to avoid throwing at X after the early INTs. Can second-year Hafley move him around more to make it more difficult for teams to do that? A bit. I think some of it will be dependent on the types of defenses they face and what they're asking X to do that week. I think, like I said earlier, there's going to be a lot of interchange on the entire defense, really, not just in the secondary. I think certainly, yeah, you're going to want to try and move him around a bunch and not have the quarterback be able to always know where he's going to be, and or offensive coordinators to try and avoid him, quote unquote. I don't think it was so much, teams throwing away from him and or being able to kind of scheme away from him or anything like that. I do think certainly they tried to do some of that, but at the same time, I think sometimes the ball bounces your way. Certainly, there were a number of interceptions that X made early in the season that are great plays on the ball. There are also one or two that it's an overthrow or he's in the right place, right time, and hey, you got to catch him, right? And he did. But I think there were plenty. If you go back and you watch even like the last 4 games or so, there's plenty of times he's around the football. He just isn't able to make a play on the ball for any number of reasons. So I think, interceptions, plays like that, they can be streaky. I do think he made the most of every opportunity he was given last year, and I think he'll continue to do so. But like I said, I don't think you'll see some real overt, noticeably, prevalent decision and or construction of opposing offenses that completely try to avoid him. Like, back in the day when people used to talk about throwing away from Richard Sherman's side of the field and things like that. And that certainly materialized in certain games with certain quarterbacks. But I think especially with the Packers defense, the way they move their safeties and utilize so many different coverages, you'd be hard pressed to be able to kind of zero in on X and say, okay, we're not throwing there. Well, what if they have him single high pre-snap, right? And then he drops down into that kind of robber or buzz roll underneath like the 10-yard marker. And all of a sudden you thought he was going to be deep. And now he's, taking away your slants or your crossers or what have you. I just think there's so much motion and kind of cat and mouse, especially with X, that it'd be really hard as an offensive coordinator to completely avoid him, right? You just, it's kind of an impossible mission. What else we got here, folks? They probably didn't see the hand signals. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh no, Joe now. Come on now. Love would be really good if his wide receivers weren't actively trying to sabotage him. Now, let's be nice. Certainly there were times when the receivers let him down, but there's also plenty of moments you can point to where he needed to be better. It's not just the receivers, Nags, Steelers signing Ramsey, trading for Ramsey, sure, sir, and a monster trade with a ton of moving parts. Someone, Andy, wanted the pack or thought the pack should consider. Your thoughts? Wise move or overpayment? Well, I mean, they're getting together a bunch of 2022 All-Stars, that's for sure. Man, it's just not the way the Packers operate. I never thought Ramsey was in play for Green Bay. I don't think that's just the way they go about roster construction. I understand Packers fans, and I've talked a lot about this, looking at the cornerback room and thinking we got to desperately need to add somebody, quote unquote. I think they're a lot better than people think. I think the Packers really like them. And I think given what they've done as far as the guys they already have in house and the number of snaps they've played together already in this defense, I would have been very surprised if the Packers had done something like that. Now, that doesn't mean, he can't go to Pittsburgh and be very successful in Tomlin's defense, etc. I'm not saying that, but it's just not how the Packers operate. So I never really entertained it much. But we'll see how it plays out with the Steelers. I mean, that is a crazy different team that they're going to be fielding this season than the last season, obviously, but even the last 3 or 4 years. The W. Collins, what's going on, man? Coming up to Green Bay for the first time for training camp. Any recommendations on places to go? Well, first of all, be sure you find the video I did a couple years ago called Aaron Nagler's Top 5 Things to Do in Green Bay. Plenty of suggestions in there. But I'd also add, that's probably not even, I don't think I can remember in that video, I would definitely hit up the Heritage Trail in Green Bay. It's pretty amazing. Lots of great historical moments and markers from throughout the history of both the team and the town. Just highly recommend it. It's amazing. Obviously, the things that are available in and around Lambeau are must-dos, whether it's, going to Titletown and checking out everything that's there, or, the Packers Hall of Fame is a cannot miss attraction. You got to do it. And it's inside the stadium, so it's really easy to get to. Check out one additional stop I'd add into my, what someone pointed out was mostly just bar recommendations in my video. One thing I would add is the rooftop bar at the Legacy Hotel. That's a pretty cool spot. They're got great views, good sunsets, and a great place to grab a drink after work or when you're coming up for training camp. She said, Joey, the question. So what happens if the Jenkins holdout continues? They probably slide over Sean Ryan and keep working. We'll see. I mean, it ain't even July 4th yet, man. I ain't worried about nothing until we get to July, let's say, 20th. The first day of camp, first practice is the 23rd, right? I think veterans are supposed to report the 22nd. So, or 21st, somewhere on there. So mark me down. So make sure you remind me, and I'm sure you will, Internet. July 20th is our alert day for Elgton Jenkins. If Elgton Jenkins does not have a deal by July 20th, then we can start talking about it / worrying about it. But until then, man, enjoy your summer. Just enjoy your summer. Evil Badger, thanks again, man. Also known as Ryan Willie, after the hair bands died, I started listening to country music. It's difficult to accept 80s and music as oldies. Green Bay 17-0. Oh, Ryan, are you Evil Badger? One of our resident Eeyores? Good to see you, Ryan. Yeah, man, I feel you. The hair bands died. I had a good friend, my friend Justin Gartner, growing up. He was a huge metal hairband type dude, and I got to know a lot of those bands because of him. None of which I really liked, but he did introduce me to Led Zeppelin, and I will forever be grateful for him for that. But yeah, that was never really my scene either. I guess I don't really like a lot, but that was never my tip, as it were. Joey O, it's possible. Jacob Monk's season, as far as if Elgton Jenkins doesn't show up, I think he's going to battle for the backup center spot. There's zero doubt about it. And if Jenkins isn't there and he wins that job, yeah, it's Jacob Monk's season. I mean, it does feel like that's kind of why he was drafted, to be their center. Clearly, that didn't materialize his first season. No, they didn't really need him. Hopefully, he hits the ground running this summer and makes it a conversation. You know what I mean? That'll be one of the battles I'm going to be most interested in checking out once camp starts, and really once the pads come on. She said, Joey, thanks again, man. Since it's the off season, Superman or Fantastic Four? Well, I'll see both of them. My oldest and I are going to see Superman next week when it comes out, or is it in 2 weeks? I can't remember. And then my youngest is very excited for Fantastic Four, so I'll be going to see that as well. As for which one I'm more excited about, man, they ain't made a good Fantastic Four movie yet. So we'll see. I'm skeptical. It looks cool. I like the design of it, but I don't know, man. As for Superman, I'll see it. I'm excited for a new, fresh take on Superman, but I will say, I was just watching the, Christopher Reeve original just the other night, and man, it's hard to beat. It's hard to beat. And I understand some of the effects are dated and some of it is a bit cheesy and dated. I get all that. But man, you cannot beat Christopher Reeve as Superman and especially as Clark Kent. Marlon Brando's awesome, even though I know he phoned it in. And the fact that he can phone it in and be awesome is a testament to his genius. And then Gene Hackman, rest in peace. Man, he is amazing in that film as Lex Luthor. So, and Ned Beatty and Margot Kidder, like you cannot beat the performances in that film. And plus, go back and watch it if you haven't in a long time, because like there are set pieces and shots that are like theater. Like there's one shot where they're leaving work from the Daily Planet and they leave like Perry's office and they walk through the newsroom into the hallway. She goes into the restroom. He says goodnight. He goes into the other hallway to wait for the elevator. And it's all one shot. It's like a theater piece. And he's, as Clark Kent, he's fucking brilliant. If you can tell, I'm a big fan of that film. So yeah, I'll see them both. I'm excited to see both of them. Simitovich, what's going on, buddy? Been out of the country 2 weeks, started a new job. Hope all is well. Hope your vacation was great. Favre Madison last night. Go Pack Go. Simitovich, well, congrats on the new job, man. And yes, vacation was amazing. It was phenomenal. I highly recommend, like I said before I left, getting away and recharging, because that's what I did, and it was a ton of fun. Lake George, highly recommended. Really good time. Upstate New York. The new Jurassic World looks legitimately scary. I think it looks like a good Jurassic Park film, which maybe is an oxymoron given most of the output, but I'm excited to see that too. I'll definitely be seeing it. Don't forget the original score from Superman. David, that's the thing. That's the twist, right? That Gunn used in the trailer. And maybe I think he said they use it in the film. That kind of guitar riff / version of that John Williams piece. He knows what he's doing. Yeah, the John Williams score, you can't beat it. Come on. E4 K-Town, what's up? Great music in all genres, but there's a lot of crap in all genres too. Well, that's the thing. Like, man, I understand the what do you call it? The talent that it takes to create all of it. I understand. I'm not denying the talent. Just sometimes it just ain't for me. That's all that is. John Williams, GOAT. John Williams is the GOAT. The GOAT. And of course, we're talking about the late round draft pick by the Green Bay Packers. All right, everybody, I have to get going. I cannot thank you enough for hanging out, talking Packers each and every day, Monday through Friday, right here on the Cheesehead TV social channels. Please do me a monster favor. Hit like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and then tell your friends and tell your family. Cheesehead TV. We are devoted to Green Bay Packers fans worldwide. Thanks a lot, everybody. Have a great night. Go Pack Go.